My brother, don't give up. Hold on, my brother, don't give up. Hold on, my sister, just look up. There is a master plan in store for you if you just make it through. Allah's gonna really blow your mind. He's gonna make it worth your time. Promise you. The best is yet to come. The best. Oh gosh. The best is yet to come. Hold on, my brother, don't give up. Hold on, my sister, just look up. There is a master plan in store for you if you just make it through. God's gonna really blow your mind. He's gonna make it worth your time. I promise you, for all the trouble you've been through. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Today is the first day of the best days of your life. We're going to give honors to these words of the prophet. My title is wrong on this YouTube. It's supposed to say message. It doesn't say that today. It says King Solomon still because I didn't change it. But there is a message today, a message to be giving to the people today, Islam. So I want to give honors to our divine constitution and bylaws. I would say this, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We turn to the east, is going within. Put 5 fingers on the left with 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islam. I trust all is well with everyone today in the social media world. I know it's a whole lot going on, a whole lot of energy in the atmosphere. But this is why it's important that we have Sunday school. So very important why we have Sunday school. So I wanted to give honors to the words of our prophet from our divine constitution and bylaws. We'll give honors to that. And then we're going to get into this, okay? I want to first come out of, man, so many, and these are old notes I have. So crazy, but so when I say things align themselves and Allah knows best. And when I say your God, when I say Allah is the God, and I'm talking about the masculine side of Allah, guiding you and navigating you through this, right? And the logic and all of this. And it's just so beautiful when I can go back and look at notes, literally from like 2016, and be like, whoa. And I wasn't even barely really scratching the surface. I'm still barely scratching the surface of this whole Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But I wasn't even barely at a scratch of the surface at this point. I was just really getting into studying this these lessons. Then some of this comes from 2018, right before I came back to Georgia, right before I moved back here. Because one of these is from 2018. I was still back home because I didn't come back here until toward the end of 2018. So I'm peeping at all these different notes because I was still, even though I wasn't here in Atlanta in a temple, I was still making sure I was going to the meetings that were on the conference call. So when I'm looking at these, I'm just really like, wow, my notes were like something that I took. So that's where I'm going to come out of these today, from these notes that I had written years ago. And some of it I'm not going to go into because boy, I was on some, whoa, okay. It's some deep stuff. I need to go back and study some of this that I am like, whoa, that was deep. Even though I can grasp it, it's like I wrote that. Studying certain things, but just even seeing it, but also it's taking me all the way back. Like I can look in here and be like, wow, when I first started studying, and that was the Tree of Life. It was a book. That book is still on my computer right now, and I need to go back and look because as I'm looking through these notes and comparing them to this Holy Quran and the notes that I had even from way back when, how everything flows together and how so many things just you can confirm from one to another, right? Um, and so I want to first talk about. I'm gonna go here. Mm. And we want to talk about this. The reason why I'm saying message today because it is so much going on, and bringing the message of love to you, of something that can help maybe lighten the weight on your heart, lighten the way for you. You know, we still have to help people navigate through this plane that we're on. And with all this going on, we need each other more than ever now. We need each other more than ever for iron to sharpen iron, to show up for one another, to really tribe up with those that are really, really a tribe. Because you got to watch people. Some people ain't really for no tribes. A lot of these people really ain't. They just come in and try to tribe up with you to see what you're doing, what you got going on, and how they could come in and destroy you. But right now, more than ever, you will be tested on so many levels about coming together. You're going to really, the love you claim you hold in your heart, the love you claim you have so much for your people, for your family, or whoever, is now going to be shown on levels that you can't hide from. So the fake love that you've been giving out is no longer going to be, people are not going to receive it because they're going to know it's fake. The fake knowledge, the fake energy, the fake love, the fake all of that is no more. Because none of it is natural. Only natural light is fire. In order to have fire, you must have oxygen, right? You must have matter to burn. Hold on. I don't know why people decide to text me when y'all know that I am in Sunday school. What makes me mad, this is just like grandma. You know your grandma every Sunday was at Sunday school. On Wednesday, she was at doggone Bible study. You know what people are doing. So it just kills me. I've been doing this, I've been in this thing for a while. So it just behoves me that people call or text. And it's like, I'm just gonna be quiet and go back to where I was. So you must have matter to burn. So between hydrogen, which is an 8, oxygen, we get to the 6th element, we get to carbon. And we got to talk about this carbon. Carbon is a substance that results, and it results in burning. So even with my curling irons, we're going to take this here. I have Marcel curling irons. They go in the stove and they get heated up by fire. But if there's anything left, because it does, we burn them to make them slide, right? But carbon can begin to this black stuff will start to build up on your iron. So you have to burn off the carbon in order for the iron to smoothly go through the hair again, right? But if you are like, say, if you're unaware and you don't keep these irons clean and keep that carbon off of them from building up, you could cause not only yourself to get sick, but your clients. I've worked with a stylist that ended up with spinal meningitis from curling dirty hair. So understanding how important it is to remove certain substances from things before placing them in places. So going back to this, I was just like, wow, the carbon and how it comes through burning. That results on burning. When God said, let there be light, he was already at the eighth element, y'all. Couldn't have been the beginning. He was already at the eighth degree of oxygen. Allah, mother and father, man, just them, their beings of of how they brought us into this existence. It's just beautiful when you can go through these things. Because if you remember your periodic tables, you could probably catch up with some of this that I'm saying. And I had to remember, well, some people might not remember their periodic table to really know what I'm saying when I'm talking about this, right? But hopefully you can catch up. Condemnation of light is knowledge. Knowledge would be at 1 and not at 8. Because knowledge is first. To know wisdom, wise, learning things that are presented as things to know or understand. Utilize and then explain the knowledge I obtained in the form of wisdom. So what knowledge have I obtained in this form of wisdom from coming out of these, out of the Holy Quran? You know what wisdom I have learned? What I have obtained in wisdom is the wisdom of me, of myself, of really getting to know myself. Not faking like I know myself, but really digging into the parts I don't like, the parts I love, the parts that could be worked on, like really acknowledging that and obtaining that wisdom and not being afraid to face it. Because God had to be in my heart to turn on the light. And light is chaos. The part of our beings that are imperfect is the body, is darkness, is created light. Where does God dwell? In the darkness. Where does man dwell? In the light. I was in the presence of God when I was blindfolded, in darkness, and brought in the presence of man when it was removed. If someone says, I want to take you to the light, go to Isaiah 4:14. So we're going to go in Isaiah 4:14. Isaiah 4:14. Where are we at, Isaiah? Isaiah 4:14. Isaiah 4:14. Let's see. Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon. 4:14. We're gonna give birth. Four verse. Wait a minute. Hold up. There's no. Let's see where this is. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Where did I write this from? That's what I'm telling you. See, I done went to these. And now, maybe it's... I'm going to have to find, because I know that's where it is. Go to the light. Isaiah 4:14. I'm going to have to find that one and come back on that one. Okay. So when we fell into flesh. This is where our conflict begins. This is where the conflict totally begins with us. When we fall into this flesh. When we fall into flesh, it's kind of like we lose consciousness to me. Like we just totally lose consciousness. And when we're awakened into something that we're so unfamiliar with. But we decide to go along with it. We like, I'll just ride with it. I'll ride the wave with it, no problem. But the prophet brought certain things for us to not fall so deep into this, because this is where our conflict begins. And if we were ever in understanding the fall of how we fell into this flesh and how we just grab onto these earthly desires and materialistic things, but he gave us instructions on how to navigate yourself and how to not fall into this flesh, and how to really, as I say, put the soul to work, because this flesh is so carnal and it's so weak in so many ways. Because I know mine is, and I'm still learning how to keep it in the bounds of righteousness. I'm still using tools on an everyday basis, right? So I'm just going to read the first top of chapter 1, and then we'll go to chapter 3, because a lot of these chapters that I'm like tripping that this was so long ago, but it's right here, and they're like almost the same chapters I've been reading. So this is where you know that Allah is like, let me tell you something. He's the perfect planner of it all. He knows before we know. He knows where to bring us to. He knows what to bring us out of Islam. So I'm so grateful, because this is just, like I say, it's another way for me of checking myself and making sure that I'm being obedient to what Allah has brought, that I'm still working on that obedience. Not to say that I'm perfect, and not to say that it will reach perfection at this time. One day it will, because we are able to reach the perfected man. So in the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter I, the creation and fall of man. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. I want to stop there. The finite mind. The finite mind is the mind now. This is our mind we're in. From the things we see on this physical level. That's a microphone. This is a light, you know. Mm-hmm. Finite mind. Finite mind can see this. All this in front of me. I've made it manifest. This is a book. That's a Bible. This is a computer, a tablet, a phone. Finite thinking, finite mind. Infinite. All finite things. Okay, so the finite mind cannot comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject to change. Your phone changes every 6 months. Your phone will go out. You're like, dang, they going to end up coming out with a new phone. I'm going to need a new phone. Finite. Finite thinking. Finite. These are finite things that you can see in front of you. And they are subject to change. All finite things will cease to be, because there was a time when they were not. There was a time this computer didn't exist, this social media, that tablet, this phone. There was a time it didn't exist. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yeah, from the finite point of view, the time will come where there will be no more. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a soul, that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh, that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Okay, so creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave you a soul so that you might function on the plane of soul, that you might use your soul and employ it in the right way, that you won't, even though the soul is there, that you won't misuse it through the thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing of you, or allowing someone else to take over those matters of your soul. So you might function on the plane of soul. That means taking control of your own soul and knowing it's there and keeping it in the bounds of righteousness and all of those things. Also, to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. So creative fate, even to spirit man, gave to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the planes of things that are made manifest? So why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul? And he might, that's still that key word of might, function on the plane of soul. Because in all honesty, if it's not seen, because the soul is such a fine substance that the fleshly eye, the carnal eye, the finite eye cannot see it. The infinite, to go into the infinite is when you'll be able to even see it. But the finite mind, the carnal mind, this carnal flesh cannot see that. So a lot of times that's why we're so disconnected from our soul, because you can't see it. It's not like your body or your fingers or any of that. You can't see it. So in order for you to know that it's there, you want to see it. But finite minds can't see that. Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Now remember, two held their stations, right? And this yells out from the creation. And I'm not going to say, I need to stop saying him. We're so indoctrinated with putting God in a box, Allah in a box, so we put a gender on them quickly, when this is encompassed in both masculine and feminine. So we need to start correcting ourselves when we're saying these things, because we're giving too much energy to one and taking away from the other. That both are very important. It's not one without the other, period. So you hear, as Allah, Mother, Father, yell out, hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Two of those held their station. Somebody else, they did not. Again, it's here now, O protoplasm, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, water, earth, and air. Hear now everything that is or was or evermore will be, for wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Now, if you were following what I was saying about the oxygen, that Allah they had to be at the 8th degree, because that first one, at 1, is the knowledge. And you can even see it even in here. Because by the time he gets to the elements, which he calls out, those elements of fire, water, earth, and air. Oxygen controls oxygen, fire. Come on. So you would have to be at the 1st degree of knowledge. He was at 8 by the time we started coming into this manifest. So what was really going on? Do you really know? We just are only guessing, because man does not know by being told. So we're all simply guessing stuff based off of what our understanding is when we're reading something. Even when we go to look in the dictionary to look up a word, it's still based off of the understanding of how you're grasping a hold to it. But he was at the 8th degree. That's something. That speaks within that alone. See, it's the part where it's always saying he might, the might part. These key words that nobody looks for, but it just say, oh, why did creative fate give the soul a body of flesh that he functions on the plane of things that are made manifest? You see how people can miss that word. They can miss might because they don't feel might is a part of who they are. But it's important because it is, because you might not function on the plane of things made manifest. You might not function on the soul manifest. Who knows? You may not function that way. You're going to function in the way you want to function in. But that's what the carnal flesh is all about. That's why when it says when we fell into flesh, this is where the conflict begins. We begin a conflict with ourselves, not with nobody else. We begin the conflict with self. Man is the thought of a lie. All thoughts of our lie are infinite. They are not measured up by time. For the things that are concerned with time begin and end. And we're always concerned with time. People, we're concerned with time all the time. What time is it? Oh, I'm about to get off in 15 minutes. Oh, always concerned with time. But time never was when man was not. And when we're so concerned with time, we put a period to ourselves. We put a period to our life. When we're so concerned with time, when we're so concerned, I ain't got enough time. I don't know, if the Lord makes available, whatever the word may be. You're already putting a period on your time. You're putting an end to yourself. No one else is, and no one else told you to do that. Islam. So, the thoughts of Allah are everlasting, of the past into the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. So the thoughts of Allah, they're like never-ending. His thoughts of who we are never-ending. Are the thoughts of Allah, mother and father. I'm working on that part. To bring that together as one. Because we miss mother so much. This is what got us in the position we're in now. We just totally forget the mother even has anything to do with anything. But she's blamed for everything. But claims she has nothing to do with even spiritual life itself. With the mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So they're constantly pushing us into this entity, like as if we don't exist. Even though we do exist, it's still like as if they putting it out there like as if we don't. We're some kind of spookism. We really don't. We're really not real, But we all know we are, because you all had to come from a woman. But it's just, as you look over and as you're seeing and as you're watching, as you watch things go on and you see things go on, just like I was saying as of yesterday, Islam, Sister Christina, Islam. As I was saying yesterday, the slave trade never stopped. It's still going on because they're still taking women and children. They're still taking them. They're still kidnapping them. So the woman is still not honored. She's not honored as if she's a mother. She's still being treated as a piece of something, a piece of trash, a piece of whatever, but not as a human, not as a mother, not as a woman. She's not being treated in that way. Because they write us out, they diss us. Our brothers won't show up in the ways that they really should for their spouses or their women or their families. And the woman she does so much. Tank says in her new song, Black Girl, she said, the Black woman, I like to say the Asiatic woman, is always pulling the community up by her bra strap. Bra straps are only going to go so far before they pop, and that hurts. But we are constantly pulling our communities up by our bra straps. Whether it's your feet in the community, you're speaking the community, whatever you're doing, the woman is always pulling the community up by her bra straps. Whether you have children and all the children come to your house to eat, they have nowhere to go, she's still pulling the community up by her bra strap. And usually a lot of times doing it by herself because there's no one there to help her do it. People talk about they'll help. People talk about they'll be there. But the majority of the time, sisters is always standing on their own. Whether they're hurting through a breakup, whether they're standing by themselves. Standing by themselves. It's so hard for sisters to tribe up with anybody because of the trust that's not there anymore. We have lost so much trust in everything. We are just I don't feel we're appreciated enough on enough levels. And this is why the world is going the way it is. And you talk about as we talking and we see where Allah is calling out to all things. So you can't say what don't exist and on what plane it might exist. Right? So with all that's going on right now in the skies, with the drones, with the whatever it is, just please note that Allah ain't playing. You thought it was a game. I think everybody thought this was a game and it would never happen. Oh, I'll be gone by the time he come again. I'll be gone. Not realizing this has been happening the whole time. You've been walking amongst messiahs the whole time. But you've been walking amongst other entities also and other energies. And he even tells you. So how do you know? Do you know the definitions of what all this is and how you break it all down and how these things can come living things? Protoplasm, earth, plant and beast, creeping things of earth. Of earth. Earth is one planet. He's out of earth. Not to say of any other planet. Ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. As many type of birds that fly, as many type of fish that swim. You thought it was a game. You thought it was a game when he laid everything out in front of you. You thought you had time. Time never was when man was not. But the time that you think you on, the time that you think that you could give to these things that are not of Allah, we will be the reorders of these events. I promise you, Sister Christine, we sure will be. We sure will be. And as much as people don't want to believe it, but that's the problem, because belief is just based off what man tells you or what somebody told you. But this faith and this surety that you should have at this time, this faith and this surety, so you can be the fruition, so you can be what you say you are, so you can be what you say you know. Because everyone's falling into fruition at this time. Whether you look at it from a good point or a bad point, everybody's falling into who they say they are. So you can, these lessons can be all that you into, but really, as I say, do you apply them to your life do you apply them to your life though? In order for them to be manifested? Or do we just talk about this stuff all day long and ain't doing nothing for real? Ain't really doing nothing but talking. Who are we saving? Who are we helping? Like I said, we're in such a greedy state of mind in all that we do when we're not supposed to be. This is why only two held their stations. Two held their stations. The rest failed. And I named many things here. So two held their station. All right. So the thoughts of Allah are everlasting of the past until the never-ending days to come, and so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed. A seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah. Just as a seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So, if we hold within ourselves, because we're a seed, within ourselves the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant. So we're talking like an apple tree, any plant that holds a seed, lavender, anything that you can plant a seed, right? And the potencies of Allah are in us. But you can't put an apple seed in an orange. You can't take an orange and go put it in a pear to think you're gonna get an orange pear? I mean, what we do? So with us having the potencies of Allah, we got to learn on how to unfold, how to grow into this, how the seed grows and how it becomes this very beautiful, special plant and how it unfolds into being a beautiful flower. So spirit man as seed of Allah held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. So you see it says spirit man as a seed of Allah. It didn't say carnal man. It says spirit man as a seed of Allah. So if your spirit is in line and continues, because it knows it holds the potencies of Allah in it. So if the spirit, if you can stay in touch with it, I promise you, you can reach this perfection. You can reach it. It's not easy work. This is not easy work. Nobody said you're going to get it like that. But we got to get it because we're going to keep returning until we get it. Now, seeds are perfect. Yeah, it's perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. They're not unfolded into life made manifest. Seeds are perfect as from the source from which they come, as I said. But if it's a bad apple seed, it's going to grow a bad apple tree. If it's a bad seed, it's not going to produce as it should. So seeds are as perfect as the source from which they come. But they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. That's where the seed is planted. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow. So even as this seed that we are and we're planted in our mothers as sons, as daughters, and we're planted in our mothers, the child is as perfect as the mother is. So the seed, so man, the seed must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow. So even in that, the mentality of the mother, all of this energy from father and mother, because it's not just mommy's energy, because from the sperm of the father, you still getting some of that, you getting it. You're getting the whatever he's going through, whatever that energy is. So you're getting it from mom and dad. You're not just, yeah, as perfect as the mother is, because you have to stay planted in our soil for longer. But still, you're still getting whatever he done came through his lineage, through that sperm or whatever he going through in his life. You getting it still then too. That's why we have to, when we're planting these seeds, and it says that he might grow in development of mind and knowledge, that you'll give them the knowledge even from here, from their first level. Like I was saying, that Allah was at the 8th degree when it came to oxygen, when he said, let's breathe over this earth. I'm going to breathe over the chaos of the deep. He was at oxygen in the 8 month, 9 month baby come. You going to be breathing air from out here. So we come out of the chaos of the deep into this light. That's why it's important you keep your mind on this, men and women. As these babies are being carried, as the women are carrying them, you need to be, your words need to be so soft and beautiful. The way you move needs to be amazing. When that baby comes, you need to be helping. You need to be just as involved as the mother is, from day one to whenever they decide to leave the nest. It shouldn't always be on mama to do all these things, because when it's always on mama to do all these things, you see the reflection of that in relationships with men and women. Men are still looking for their mamas because they can't stand up and be men enough for us. And when we're calling out to say we have even when we have these men in our life, we can say, hey, you're making breakfast in the morning, right? Can you make me some pancakes? But you know I don't eat eggs and bacon and all of those things, but just some pancakes would be cool. Or you can make me a side of grits. Oh, I don't make all that. You see, never taking the time to hear your woman or hear your mate in the things that they need. But when it comes to the things you need, a woman will go above and beyond, even before she even gets the title to be who she is to you. She's still showing you her loyalty. She's still showing you her love. She's still showing you what her intentions are with being with you. When all the intentions are, most of the time for the brothers, is just figuring out how they can get some. No matter how much they say they want to be with you, the only thing they're thinking about is how much you're going to give to them, but never willing to give back to you. So this is where this comes from, that greediness, that self-centeredness. So, man, the seed must be deeply planted in the soil that it might grow. Unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul, and the plane of things made manifest. The soul, the soil. When we came into this manifest, this is when the shadow came. The shadow came in. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil. So it grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear the plane of soul. The plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and all of love manifest, right? When he says it grew apace, man became a living thing, a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. So then it says, if you're the kingdom of all the soul, you're the kingdom of all the soul, right? And the soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast, in a slower rhythm. But he says, hearken now, let every creature hear the plane of soul. You, man. We were ordained. Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So we have control of our soul, y'all. We can control this soul. We can love from it. That's where your compassion, all your trueness comes up out of that. Because if that's the spirit, ether of the spirit vibrating not so fast, you got to know Allah is love. Allah is love all day long. So you have control of the spirit to expound on love, to give love. You don't have to dish your soul and decide just falling complete into carnal flesh and just become the most evil person. Just can't find no love in your heart for nothing. Not a kind word, not a soft anything to anyone. Everything you bring is a bunch of chaos and drama. And even out of chaos, we get out of the chaos comes the peace. But we constantly on chaos. When are you ever peaceful? Are you ever peaceful? Do you ever just shut down and say, and tap into what peace feels like? Because just because it's perfumes and odors, the true sensations and all the love and all of love manifests. Okay, let's talk about perfumes and odors. Perfumes and odors don't always smell. Perfumes, for one, don't always smell good. One perfume I can't stand that it just smells horrible to me is White Diamond. I don't like White Diamond. And I don't like floral scent perfume. They don't smell good to me. Roses don't smell that great to me. Some of them smell good, but the red ones do smell as they say. They don't smell as great as you think they do. Slick as you smell them, they smell like poo. I'm going to say it because they do. So when we're talking perfumes, it's not always the best scent of a perfume. An odor doesn't necessarily always have to be a bad odor because there are good odors too. No different than the perfumes, right? But these bad odors that you can smell too. Sometimes when you're smelling bad odor within yourself, it's something going on within self. When the bodies give out bad odors, sometimes that could be a key that something is going on within the body. Islam. So, it just depends. This is why it's best that we take care of ourselves. We got to take care of ourselves. We have to tap into our soul's purpose so that we can be this love that we talk about. And these soul attributes became a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower, still, and then the essence took on a final garb. The perfumes and odors and the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh. And man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life. So a carnal was full manifest. So perfected man must pass through all the ways of life. I was just telling y'all about the movie Mary that's on Netflix. After watching that movie and seeing what Mary went through to even bring Jesus into this world, justice, bring this child into the world, the things she had to go through to get him here, and then the things he had to go through in being here and being a living testimony to Allah's work. She was going through a lot. They was trying to take her out for being pregnant with this baby. Y'all have to go watch it because never has the story been told. I just can't remember the story being told in the way that this film laid it out. But as the film laid it out, it started making so much more sense. And seeing why they was trying to come for Jesus. They did not want Jesus to be born. King Herod said, you go take out every firstborn son, every male child you can find, take him up out of here. She was already at her auntie Elizabeth's house. Elizabeth was already 7 months pregnant. So she hadn't been yet able to deliver her child for her. So Mary and Elizabeth were together in a sacred grove. But Elizabeth, actually, as they depict her in the movie, she was the auntie. She was Mary's mother's sister. And that was the safest place she could go, was to Elizabeth's, to be safe, where no one could find her. You got to go watch it, man. So to even know the things that she had to go through, the things she had to pass through before even bringing this child into the world, the ways of life. Her parents sold her off. The parents wanted to have children and couldn't. And they kept trying, and eventually she prayed and prayed till God blessed her to have Mary. So they eventually had Mary, their child. But when they had her, I guess they made some kind of contract to a king that once they did have a child, that they would give the child to them. So they took her to this king and gave her over. So she worked, scrubbed the floor. She was doing everything that you would do, like as a nun, as I was saying. And then became pregnant. Joseph was her fiance. They showed the whole story of how they met in this place, this place where she was. And then one day comes up pregnant and tells the lady, the mother, I'll say the empress, whoever she was over them all. She was having a conversation with her, and the woman always knew she was the chosen. She was like, yeah, you're going to have a chosen child. And Mary was like, how do you know? But I'm only this age. Like, who knows that? How do you know that? Like, she's wanting to know. And so eventually she comes up pregnant without having sex. And she's like, but how? Because I didn't do nothing. How is this happening to me? So she goes to her to tell her, but one of the other girls that really ain't really rocking with her like that hears the conversation and goes back and tells. As I always say, it's always a snitch in there somewhere. I don't care what area you come from. It's always going to be dirty this, dirty that. Somebody always looking to do somebody else dirty because there's no such thing as a positive. I mean, there is such thing as positive and negative, but you really can't. There's not good or bad. It is what it is. Either the person's heart is just not what it should be. That's why I say you might function on the plane of soul. You might function. But for those that like to function just on the plane of manifest, a lot of times because they're not connected to the soul, their heart, they sure ain't looking out. They're trying to get whatever they can get for self and destroy whoever they can destroy in that time. Once she finds out, she goes to tell them. They tell her she got to go. You got to leave. You can't be here. And then go tells the king, hurrah. And they like, oh yeah, stone her. Get rid of her. Wherever she is, stone her to death. She gets to her. So that's where she goes to the parents. The parents like, you can't stay here. You're going to have to go over there. So she goes. And that's what pops off. And she got to go through all this to be able to get somewhere to have Jesus. And they still running even after they have Jesus because she got to drop Jesus in a basket over this tall structure to Joseph. so he can get the baby so they could go. Because they still trying to get him. Why they wanted to take him out so bad? Why they want to take Jesus out so bad? Why they want to stake this? Why do they want to do this? They want to stone her before she can have him. But now that they know that she's giving birth, now they want him. It sounds so familiar to the Asiatics of today. You know how people say, the right to our bodies, and we don't have the right to our bodies. You've always had the right to your body. You get to change it as you want to. Nobody told you didn't have no right when you went and got a BBL or anything else. Nobody told you weren't complaining about your rights to your body then. You weren't complaining about the rights to your body when you was doing whatever you was doing to your body. This is why we have to know how to function. This is why it's important that we are in touch with our soul, our soul's purpose, in touch with the spirit. So that even as we're in this carnal flesh, we can navigate better. We can love more. We can strive to be that perfected man. So, and it says, okay, perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest. A carnal was full manifest. A nature that sprung forth from fleshly things. So we became this carnal as a full manifest, and a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. Boy, our nature and these fleshly things that we will be a part of. It sprang forth from fleshly things. Man, I could just think of how I've done myself over the years. When I read these lessons, I just be thinking of some of the things that I've done. Like some of the choices I made. Like, just, I can see, yeah. And how I've let my flesh be so much of what has navigated my life. But without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. And thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight. Because boy, has this carnal nature become such a foe that you must fight on so many levels. And you'll think that you done fought the foe. You're like, oh, that foe, I done got it. Nah, it'll sneak back up on you too. Sometimes them foes will keep coming. Same spirit, different body. I'm so telling you. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. You hear the might. I keep saying this might, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Not that it will happen, because we're so weakened by our carnal flesh. That's why the might is there. That you might, may not be though. Let every living thing stand still in here. Man is the Lord of all the planes of manifest, of protoplasm, of mineral, of plant, of beast. But he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. He gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. You can say that from a masculine standpoint, feminine standpoint, either one. To gratify your lower self. Right? And that's where we gave up our birthrights. We wanted everything someone else had. The flesh is a mess. Islam. We wanted everything someone else had. We wanted to covet our neighbor's stuff. We wanted to covet the celebrity stuff. We want everything that don't belong to us because it gratifies your lower energy. It don't gratify your higher self. Your lower energy loves materialistic stuff. The higher self is cool with it. It likes to be free. Too much of that stuff is weighing it down anyway. And it can't move around freely as it needs to. So when we fall into this carnal flesh and when we're gratifying our lower desires, we're holding on to things that are making us too heavy to be able to navigate on a more smoother plane. This is why we shouldn't be buried. This is why when I go, take me as Muslims, take me, gone, let me go on back. Cremate me and let me go back to the earth. Let me go back. Turn the ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Let me go on back to my earth's surface. That's what needs to happen, because I don't want to be heavy. I don't want to be held down in no box that my spirit can't freely be itself and freely move along to do what it needs to do, to be free, to be able to go and help those that need my help. But it can't be if I'm stuck and weighed down. Man is the Lord of all the planes of manifest, of protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yet he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun, and the spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guides. Right? We must suffer trials and temptations manifold. So even when we're going through stuff, we're going to suffer them manifold until we can reach this, because we can reach perfected man. We can regain our lost estate and our heritage. But the conflict ain't going to be able to be told in words. So even when you see people up here demonstrating, the conflict still can't be told in words. There are things that are happening in your life that you couldn't explain it if you wanted to. You don't even have the words to put with it. When Allah shows up in his blessing, this blessing business, these windows of opportunity, the floodgates that are opening, can't be told in words. You're like, man, I was just going through, and then all of a sudden you can't tell it in words. This is how amazing Allah, the Father and the Mother, is. Amazing. So we can regain it. If we just tap back in, if we could get in touch with our soul, if we can realign ourselves, which to me is what religion is all about, realign them chakras, get them in line with one another. Because when you do, then you can feel the higher essence of Allah. You can feel the Allah in you because everything's at a balance. As I say, no good or bad, no positive or negative, but a balance. That's why with the heart being light as a feather, it takes a community to hold the heart up, not just you. It's not just about your heart being light. It's about working together as a community to keep that heart light as a feather. But we think we got this all on our own, because most people think they own spirituality. They own religion. They own Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They own Jesus. They own these things, and they don't. But let him know that the cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are your protectors and your guides, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. Because on the plane of flesh, we suffer these things. We let this flesh get us. Whether we telling somebody off or whatever, having whatever we doing, we let our flesh do what it do. And then it embeds in our soul. So our soul becomes heavy. Our heart becomes heavy. We become hateful. Don't want to, just all of these things that are the lower nature, the lewdness, the hate, the slander, all of that. We have to conquer that, though. Because when man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Then he will stand untrampled on the plane of soul, where he must full complete his victory. See, you ain't even stopped yet. Just because we left this earth plane, your plane of soul is next. You still got another plane that you got to serve. Then he will stand untrampled on the plain of soul, where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plain of soul. These he must overcome. Yeah, overcome them every one. So, you think you got foes on this plane? A manifest? Baby, the soul plane, you got unnumbered foes that you must fight. Unnumbered. And I'm telling you, do, because whether it's unnumbered foes, whether it's your children hurting, you feeling it from them, your parents, your friends, the community you're a part of, you are gonna see unnumbered foes are gonna stand before you on this soul plane. And we must overcome them every one. Thus, hope will ever be our beacon of light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have full opened out, will have unfolded into the holy breath, the mother of virtues, the harmonies of life, that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and at one with Allah. Whoo! Wow. We got a lot to do, even as we're going through what we're going through on this plane, through our trials and tribulations, whether it's financial, whatever it is. While we're going on this, these are foes we're fighting, and a soldier never knows his strength. But by a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. So that's how we know our strength. That's how we obtain our strength. And thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. So thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. Self-image is your money on a personal level. Whatever you believe yourself to be, you will manifest that. I am is God. Every time you use the I am, you're really saying God term. That name or that nature reproduces whatever you feel, believe, good, bad, or indifferent. I am. And God said, I am. God said esoterically, I am light. What God said I am, it came power of creation with my mind, mouth, and consciousness. When I speak it, it begins to express. Feeling the blessings. Meditate on the law of the Lord. I sit quietly for 3 to 5 minutes daily and feel that you already have it. This is how you can already have things. This is how you can manifest. This is how you tap in with Allah. You got to go within. You got to meditate on the word. You got to meditate with Allah. We say meditate on the word. Everything is energy on physical and metaphysical levels, spiritual level, metaphysical, physical, and spiritual level. Everything is energy. Everything. Love is the beginning point of everything. Get the but out of the way. What stops you is the but. But I don't have. But I can't. But. No. Get that out your mouth. Let it go. Only consciousness does anything and everything. He who cultivates his mind has plenty of bread. He who cultivates his land has plenty of bread. Whatever you add to I am, you become it. Whatever you add to I am good. I am love. I am hate. Whatever you add to it, you become that. You should always go to sleep with a positive state of mind. These are just tools to help you reach this, to help reach your perfected man. Not to say it's going to make you perfected man, but it can be tools to help you reach this. Always go to sleep in a positive state of mind. When I was married, I would always say we can't go to sleep angry. Like we shouldn't go to bed angry with each other. And because going to bed angry with each other, I had a friend back home that her and her mate were angry with each other. And he left to go out, go somewhere. She stayed home to sleep. Angry though, they both angry. He never made it back home. This is why you shouldn't go to bed mad at anyone. I don't even care if it's somebody you don't like. Don't go to bed with negativity. And I can't even say that. Don't go to bed with these teeming mean thoughts on your brain. Go to sleep with some love as the state of mind, as love being your state of mind. You never meet anyone for the first time. You meet them on the spiritual and psychic level first. So everyone, especially when you be like, it seems like I know you. I met you before. Most likely you have. Most likely you have. Remember, spirit man don't die. It's a lie, part of a lie. Man don't die. So the spirit's always there. It's just the bodies it decides to occupy that you're not familiar with. And that's how we can always miss our Savior. That's how you can always miss a prophet, because you're looking for one body, but that's not the way spirit works. Spirit can move as it moves. Spirit lower energy, spirit higher. It can move as it moves. So you've met everyone in the spiritual or psychic level first. You already met everybody that you've come across. I'm telling you, because I met people. I have been in the company of someone that I met long ago and didn't realize I met the person. And me and that person's relationship now is so amazing. But not even realizing I met them a long time ago, worked on the same set, was doing work, and didn't even realize that was the person. Then I met them again in another setting. So the third time I met them was meant that we were supposed to be together, because that third time, that Trinity brought it all together. So that's why I say you do meet people spiritually and psychically first. You'll call them to you. I remember I was calling one name of one person, thinking it was this one person, but it wasn't. It was someone that shared the name with that person that ended up popping up. So I'm telling you, it could be, because I'm looking at it from a namesake, but the namesake was not holding the spirit that this person held. So that person popped up. So then it made me understand why I was in this energy off this name, because of this person. And they only came back to tell me that they were they didn't have much longer to be here, and they needed to apologize to me for some things that they did, and they owed me. So they just came from nowhere. I had not seen this person in 10 years. So, and even though he came back in the same body, his mindset was different. It wasn't the same that it was before. And it was even a little more damaged than it was before because of certain things that had taken place with this person. So, even when you talk about these foes that you fight, even with these foes, do you fight them because they did something to you and now you feel like you got to get back at them? Or do you allow these foes to even come in when they're here, you still exude nothing but love and allow them to be as foolish as they want to be, but you still move in love? To me, that's the way that you can reach perfected man. Not to say that that is the way, but that could be a tool to get there. So you have to always think to yourself, and say this 3 times to yourself, that I'm rich in every way. In every way that you want to bring that to you. The best gift you can give yourself is time. Even though we know time is but an illusion, but give yourself some time. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to love on yourself. Take yourself out sometime. Just you. Learn to take yourself on a date to a movie or to things like that. Run you a nice bubble bath with candles all around. The best gift you can give yourself is time. That could be time away, time to meditate, time to just really get into tune with you. Give yourself time. When you want something, the whole universe conspires to help you. Our guides, as they just said, our guides, please let man know. Let him know that the cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and the spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guides, and they will lead to victory. So when you want something, the whole universe is conspiring to help you. Your guides, your ancestors, past, future, and present. They're conspiring to help. So even when we're losing our loved ones, when they pass and they go to the next plane of manifest, that soul plane, they're going to work out sums that we couldn't work. They couldn't work out for us here. So even when they go, they become a part of this universe, and they go and do work for us, so that we're not doing so much work, but they're doing the work that we're unable to reach. They're able to work out sums for us that we're unable to even get to. But we have to get in touch with our soul so that we can reach that, so we can understand what that connection is, so we can have conversations with that. So when we go to sleep with a positive mind state, our ancestors, those ones that love us and want to help us and guide us, angels and all, want to surround us. But when you are going to bed with this energy, angriness, heartless, no compassion, just mad at the world, nothing can come to you that's of good nature. Nothing of Allah. Something of another energy can, but not of Allah. Not of Allah. When I think back on my life, I always got what I asked for, whether it was positive or negative, whether it was good or bad, whether it came from the lower self or the higher self. I always got what I asked for. Always. From the time I was a child and would watch every Grammy show, videos, I was a video fanatic. I could take you into archives of VHSs of every video I recorded. Sometimes when it came to New Edition, Count Me Out might have been recorded 7 times. I don't know. Like, I was a video fanatic. I wanted to produce videos. I wanted to make videos as I got older. I became a hairstylist, but I always wanted to work with these quote unquote celebrities, because as I looked at them from growing up, they were nowhere near what they are today, but they had compassion. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, compassion. People that you could really see the heart and the love that they have for what they do, that they weren't doing it for selfish gain. They did it because they love doing what they do. As John Bon Jovi told me when I met him, I was like, Mr. Bon Jovi, oh my God, to be a celebrity. He said, no, I wouldn't call it that, and call me John. I just do something I love to do, and I don't call that being no celebrity. So let me say, for those that we would call them celebrities, I asked for that. I was like, I want to do this person and this person. I remember I was even like, I want to do Regina Bell. I wanted Left Eye from TLC, because I could T-Boz it all day long. My best friend Ladina always had T-Boz hairdo, so I could T-Boz. I want to get in the energy of Left Eye. I want to do her. I asked for these things growing up when I was sitting in front of this TV. Janet Jackson. I'm going to do Janet Jackson. I was Janet Jackson as a child. You couldn't tell me I wasn't. From the way I danced, I knew every video, every step. I knew Paula Abdul was the reason behind all this choreography. Like, I knew the history of these folks. And guess what? I didn't get to do Janet. Not yet. I still think that day's coming. But I've been in the same room as her and Coretta Scott King when she was giving Coretta Scott King an award. during the Grammy nominee parties that I always used to attend, where I sat in the room and I've seen Usher, I've met B.O.B., I've met John Bon Jovi, I've met Big Boy from Outkast, the celebs, what? T.I. and Tiny, like everybody, Kelly Price, you name it, they were in the room. And whether I shot them from magazines, it's the fact that I was able to even come into the same room as these people. So whether positive or negative, because even through all of that, through all of these important people I have done, I can't tell you that I gained the money from it, because that's the one thing I wasn't specific about. So that's where the negative part came in. Nowhere did I become a millionaire with dealing with all these people. Nah, that wasn't it. As a child, I was just asking to be able to do these people's hair, make them look pretty, because I see them on TV. And from the time I was 8 years old, I always wanted to be a hairstylist. So I was always in my mom's wigs and scarves and doing things, and always as a child. Barbie dolls and dolls. My mom made sure I had dolls so I could always comb their hair, so I wouldn't be combing nobody else's. Then as I got older and just loved the way to look and do my hair, because I didn't like my hair not being done. So with that being said, even out of the negative that came from it, from not making the money, sometimes not being paid, people still owing money, being mistreated, treated like you're just the help. So there was I can say it, there was negativity throughout it all, but the positive part was I did everyone I asked to do. And if I didn't do them, I came in contact with them in some kind of way. I didn't get to touch Left Eye, but I did Chili. That was good enough for me, because Left Eye had already transitioned. But I know if Left Eye was here, I would have been her hairstylist. Can't tell me I wouldn't, because sis, we channeled each other. Love me some Left Eye forever. So when I think back in my life, I always got what I asked for. The universe does not think to be a victim is to justify frustration. Every person has a personal legend. I can believe that myself. It is the reason you're here. Personal legend. It's that what in life gives you your enthusiasm. That's how you know you're living your personal legend. If we are honest enough, Allah will guide us. Pure heart. The universe rises up to meet you where you are. Allah will ask, did you love enough? If you answer yes, welcome to heaven. Most people get hung up on the burden and hide in the dream. So we get hung up in the burdens of life, whether it's you don't have enough for this, you don't have enough for that. He did this to me, she did that to me, they did this to me, they did that to me. So you'll stay hung up on the burden and hide in the dream. The world's greatest lie is that you lose control of your life. If you give into your fears, you won't be able to talk to your heart. A heart is like a flower. It can be very brave and be easily hurt. Talk to your heart like you're a brave person. Talk to your heart like you're a brave person. We are here to change the state of the world. Omens, signs are everywhere. You learn this language by making mistakes and paying attention. If you think small, your world will be small. If you think big, your world will be big. Allah is so amazing. Allah is so amazing. Like, just in the way he can bring things to us. And as I said, y'all, these were notes I took back in 2018. Is it 2018? 2018. To come full circle now, and these were words I wrote from notes. These was not something I wrote from a book. These were words I wrote in notes as I was learning and listening to class. So it's beautiful to go back and look through these notes and see. And when I tell y'all, I have so many books of notes here in storage back home in Colorado. I just got tablets full of notes of all the classes I've attended, all my Sunday school classes, holy day classes. I have notes everywhere. So to be able to go back and look at the growth, look at my growth, even through my words, is just beautiful. Um, and I'm so grateful to Allah for the understanding. I'm so grateful for that. Grateful that He has shined on me and loved me enough to allow me to live my soul's purpose, to walk this path. And I'm so grateful. And I know that Allah still has me here for a reason, because I still have a lot of work to do. And I'm never not going to do the work of Allah, no matter what. No matter what. When He calls me to do it and He tells me to get up and do this, I do it. Because Allah, the Father, and the Mother are so important to me and my spirit. My spirit. I just have been the type, no matter who was leading, as long as it was right. But ain't nobody been leading right. So that's why I just don't do it. I don't go to no temple, because it's like the hurt and pain that you go through, whether it was from church, whether it's with temples. You get tired of it. You get fed up. So you like, you know what, Allah, if it's me alone and I must demonstrate your work alone, I guess I will. That's why Jesus walked by himself. Even though he had all them people around him, he still ended up being by himself. Because nobody really, the might function part, the might. And he was the one that said, I will. And she was the one that said, I will. Lilith was the one that said, I will function on this plane. And I'm not losing my My will is ever strong. Lilith is wild. My will is ever strong. My will is ever strong. Sisters, your will is ever strong. This is why women and grandmas and mothers, that's why they hold so strong in church when they get older. Because their will is ever strong. Ever strong. So they'll hold their station with God. Even if they lost their way, they're going to still hold their station with God as they grow in spirit. As their spirit grows and as they grow within. They know. They hold their station. Man, my grandmother, she held her station my whole life by taking care of all her grandchildren. When I would go for the summer, my grandma always had all her grandchildren. And it was just her. She had a husband. Just my little 4'11" grandmother that would get up every day and make sure we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And no matter that she had to make me something different because I didn't eat oatmeal. It was just, my grandma held her station. Even she stayed an usher forever. She ushered till the day she passed. My grandma. Strong-willed little lady. And held her station. A lot of your grandmas held their station. A lot of your great-grandmothers held their station. A lot of y'all mamas held their stations. Because you didn't want to go that way. You didn't want to go that route. But they held their station. They continued to pray for you. They continued to cover you. If it wasn't for your grandparents' prayers, if it wasn't for grandmama and mama and great-grandmama, and it's always going back to mama. Them prayers. Because they held their station. You know, the mother can help us in so many ways. There's always who's there to help. No matter how many times you fall, no matter what you go through, if you got your mom, even if she has transitioned, you can always call on her. I just told you that soul plane and that spirit plane are other levels that you ain't even tapped into. And a lot of the ones that have went before us are there working out these sums for us. And we just so hard-headed that we either don't want to take heed to the words that are being brought to us, and we just want to continue to do all this on our own, which ain't doing us no good. That's why you got to be careful of these false prophets. You got to be careful of these false prophets. We was warned of false prophets. We was even warned with false prophets through Brother Allah L's words when he told you, tell George to go get a job. Because George is someone that's trying to, this George energy is someone that don't want to work, don't want to do anything, wants to leech off of everything and everyone. So tell George to go get a job. Brother Allah El said that, and that was his son. He was talking about his own son. Tell him to go get a job. Matter of fact, where is those words at? So I can read them. I want to read them. There they go. Brother Allah El. I'll tell you, yeah, the prophet didn't do. Let's see. I want to read that part where Allah El says that. Tell George to go get a job. George, go get a job. Tell George to go get him a job because he tried. Okay. From Brother Allah El. Buildings, troubles, sorrows. I'm going to break up all wars, do away with all sorrows and all troubles. Whatever you do, don't get any grease or flesh in your form. No strong drinks, no gambling, no paying policies, no ball games, sports races, no prize fights. Brothers, don't talk about the sisters unless you're saying something good. When your sister is in trouble, assist her. When your brother is in trouble, go to his aid. Children must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. Hold on. Doors and not smoking. Sisters' long dresses. Okay, here we go. Islam. Brother Allah El's words. Brothers that don't treat their wife right and with respect and take care of her, the ash pile is waiting for them, for their days are shortened. I told y'all I can show y'all two people with ash piles, two men with ash piles. Don't pay any attention to George. I told him to get a job and to work. Don't you all take care of him. There are too many false prophets and too many so-called leaders out there. Don't do what George tells you to do. Do what I say. If the brothers would have stood, the sisters would have stood. I blame the brothers for what went on. I forgive the sisters. They don't have anything to worry about if they stop now and go back to the law. We stop now and go back to the law. Can't follow them. Mother is great. She gave me my form and she took care of it until I was big enough to take care of it myself. When I get out of this form, she will give me another one. Live right and treat your form right. When you go and come back, you will come back in a human form. If you don't live right, you may come back in any kind of animal form because man don't die. As I said, we have so many false prophets and leaders out here that we were warned about them. And we could call them Georges. You know, and that's the sad part. When they don't want us to know these other laws and words from other energies, because as I said, man don't die. Spirit man is constant. So spirit could go anywhere it wants to, reincarnate if it wants to, into who it may want to, because that's how spirit works. If you ain't never seen it before, I promise you about to see it now. If you didn't believe it before, it's about to be in your face. Because you're going to start witnessing all these entities that he speaks of in all of these words, in all of these texts. The creepy crawling things, the things of the earth, in the earth, the fish that swim, the birds that fly, all of these things that you're unaware of because you've been vibrating so slow that you only see certain things. But watch as they all start coming into manifest. You cannot see it anymore. You're going to see what you see. This is why this is important. But we can't follow behind everyone because everyone's not a leader. I'm waiting for Allah to come and place me where I need to be. Because I'm holding myself to constancy. I'm holding my own self to be constant. I'm working on that part. And that's what I need from a temple or from a leader or from a whatever you want to call it. I want you to be on your soul's purpose. Before you can lead people, what is your soul's purpose? Are you just leading them to nothing? To a bunch of nothing that's not going to save them? This is why I'm coming out of 3. And then I'm going to lower the meeting after this. Or maybe not. I don't know how long I want to go. So much that could be spoken on today. So much that needs to be addressed. But out of chapter 3, because we need to understand this unity of life. Elihu's lesson, the unity of life, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 3. Elihu, my God, is he. He was the comforter of Job. Job had a lot of patience. So Elihu was the comforter of Job. So in that, Elihu, if you go a little bit deeper in the meaning, is fiery defense of God's righteousness. So again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, no man live unto himself. No man. For every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. So that means we're attached to each other. Cords, we're bound down to each other, to me. By every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. They will not do to other men what they would not have other men do unto them. There are 2 selves, the higher self and lower self. Remember, I was talking about whether the positive or negative, I brought it in. The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. So even though our lower self is a reflection of our higher self, but distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh, it's distorted. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah and man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The higher self embodies truth. The lower self is truth reversed. And so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. As I said, they always want to take us out the fold. They always want to take that amazing energy out the fold. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasures, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. Yeah, give you men apples that are so beautiful to sight, lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. This is why Adam sent Eve to go get that apple. And he wasn't man enough to go get it himself. He know he was looking at that apple. That's why Lilith was like, I'm good. You know God, what God told us. See, they were together. They were at this, like they had the same rulership, the same everything. And because she didn't want to lay up under him, as we spoke, she didn't want to lay up under him. She's like, nah, we equal. Because and probably, I know she knew Adam over there looking at that apple, and I done told him don't go over there. But he wanted so bad. Go on over there with it, with the apple. Go on over there with her and the apple. Go for it. You gonna find out. As I would tell my sons, don't be looking at these women because they all pretty and they got these bodies. You better open that book up and read it. Because as pretty as it could look on the outside, ain't got nothing going on the inside. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves. And you will have studied them. Because I told you got two selves. So you be thinking, I just got to study myself. No, you need to study yourselves. You got two of themselves. Then you will ask, what to study next? I will reply, yourselves again. He who knows well his lower self, knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that pass away, and he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. The higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. So when people try to diss and say that the spirit of Allah or the spirit of the prophet, because the prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh. So when you're telling me the thought of Allah that was manifested in flesh, that spirit can't obtain another body, you're crazy. That's when I say you're crazy. Because we can see what this is all, what's going on here. So he who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world. So that's an illusion. Yeah, you think that is an illusion. Yes. Thrice blesses the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. Men seek salvation from an evil that deems a living monster of the netherworld, and they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust. Men do seek a salvation from an evil that deems a living monster of the netherworld. That's where they seek their salvation from. Most people are seeking their salvation from that. And they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful, yet full of jealousy and hate and lust. Because people will make up in their minds and their thoughts of who their God is. They're going to put a whole entire look to this person. Whether it's long hair with a beard, blonde hair, blue eye, regardless, they're going to put a look to this person. They have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful, yet full of jealousy, lust, and hate and lust, whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of lives of birds and animals and humankind. Whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifices of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. Ooh, that was deep. Oh, wow. We need to come back to that one. I need to study that one a little more, because the sacrifice of fruits and of lives of birds and animals and humankind, all that has been sacrificed. We sacrificed our food. Of course, they sacrificed the life of birds, and birds are to help you navigate and show you which way to go to. and animals, because y'all eat the chickens. You know, you eat the chicken, the beef, like eating the animals, and humankind. Humankind. It didn't say human being, it said humankind. Because some people are around here eating humans, you know? Yeah, a lot of this stuff is eaten. That's all I'm going to say. And yet these guys possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, and no power to save. The evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with the shadow of a thought. The only devil from which man must be redeemed is himself, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath of the dark and seats the savior, love, upon the throne. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath. If you remember the story of David and Goliath, and seeks the Savior of love upon the throne. That's what we must do. That's what we're obtaining. Because as I said, no more. With the way the world is and the things that you're seeing, you can act like they ain't there if you want to. They there. It's just everything is going to show itself from every plane of manifest. And if you're going to really be willing and ready to accept, well, you don't even have to be ready. It doesn't matter whether you're ready or not. It's already happening. You were warned, you were given plenty of time, if you want to call it, to get it together. He sent John with Jesus. He sent Garvey with the prophet. I'm sure he sent many others. Even just not those. You got to go through all the prophets, but think about the forerunners to each one of those. Somebody was coming before to get you, to prepare you to meet these coming kings and these coming prophets, to pull you out of the state of mind you was in, your enslaved state of mind. That's what they showed up for. Now's the time to really see who's really done the work, who's really been about that work, or who's just been putting on a front for the world, putting on a stage show for everybody, just like everything else that's going on. You don't want to believe some of these celebrities are as gross as they are, but they are. I just told you I've been in Hollywood. If don't nobody know in the stories I've heard and some of the things I've seen, baby, whatever. You can't put nothing past none of them, because none of these people are pure in heart. You have to be pure in heart to even know that, to see the God. None of them are pure in heart like that, y'all. They're all out here for selfish gain. And when you're following them and you just swear that that can't be the person living next door to you could be that person too. You don't even know your neighbors well enough. As I was telling TikTok last night, you don't even know your neighbors well enough. You don't know your neighbors well enough to know what goes on in your neighborhood. So you don't know the person you're going to, that's teaching you when you go to church on Sunday, or temple on Sunday, or temple on Friday, or whatever you do with your spiritual life. You don't know what these people do behind closed doors. You don't know if they're demons in disguise. Because we don't even get to know each other like that no more. You're not like, it's like there's not a worry about it. But I'm telling you, with the things that are popping, because I was just telling y'all Friday, watch your children. Yesterday, 2 little boys get snatched. A 5-year-old and was he 6 and 4? They're brothers. 2 little Asiatic boys. Woke up today. Same thing happening. And not only that, even when they said the cities, stay out of the cities. If you can, go to the country, be in the country, do your best to stay away from the cities. Baby, Atlanta has always been off the chain, but baby, since Friday, and the word came through the words came through these devices, and some predictions was told, and boy, if they didn't pop off the same time, I swear by the time I was about to lay down and go to sleep, it was already happening. So when you don't think God is real, or when you thought this was a game, that you wouldn't be here for Judgment Day, man don't die. You was gonna be here. You just didn't know when it was going to be or how it was going to take place. You thought you had the answer. You thought the keys was left to you. You thought that Allah was going to tell you everything. Nah. But get ready. I hope you've been ready. It ain't even about getting ready. I hope you've been ready. Togetherness and tribing up is about to be a real thing right now. So as much as you think you hard up on your own and you got this on your own because you so hard up, you so hard and you got it. Nah, bro. Your degrees, none of that is going to help you out of this because this is something that you wasn't even ready for. The most spiritual person wasn't ready for what's happening. I don't care how much you thought you was in control or which you thought you was in control with or how high you thought you reached. Baby, I'm trying to tell you, ain't a piece of paper, a certification, none of that is saving nobody from this. No money, no bunker, none of it. No fez, no turban, no pen, no charm, none of it. No, I'm a bishop, I'm a pastor, I went to none of it. Because if you didn't go into none of these things with a pure heart, I could care less what it is you got going on with your life. What you think you've obtained and what you think you've reached. If you ain't went into none of this with a pure heart. Because only the pure heart can even recognize the king. So only the pure heart can even recognize these blessings as they're coming. And they're real blessings, not temporary blessings, not a blessing because I got a car today. That's not a blessing. That's something you needed. I don't have a car. I don't have a place to stay. But I'm all right. Allah is still protecting me and still taking care of me. So those, I don't call those blessings. Those are just things. A blessing is waking up to see the sunrise every day, taking a breath that I didn't go in my sleep. That's a blessing. A blessing is waking up to be able to see the people I love and that I'm surrounded by that love me back. That's a blessing. Being able to hear my children's voices when I need to. Being able to pick up this phone and call them on FaceTime and for once that I could see them through the phone. That's a blessing. That my children are walking this earth is a blessing. I have 4 Asiatic sons. All praise is due to Allah for covering them. All praise is due to Allah for a lot of the work that I did with my children. As much as they may not see it, but yeah, I taught y'all to stand on your own. So you wouldn't always need mommy. I know it's not easy. But if I was to transition and I'm not here, how are you going to navigate? And I've always told my children that. If something was to happen, how you going to take care of each other? I would tell their dad that. If something was to happen to me, how y'all going to live? If I'm the only one doing everything, what if something happened to me? What you going to do? Well, now we're at a time where what you going to do? Because you might have to literally learn to, no, it ain't, you have to literally learn to love your neighbor. Because these are the times we're in. You're going to have to love the neighbor like Jesus loved the church. Like Solomon loved Bathsheba. Like Boaz loved Ruth. This love that we are on, this love that we're going to exude. You ain't going to never have, no one has ever seen this before in life. But the ancestors know it. They know it. They've seen it. We haven't. But we're about to see what true love really looks like. And for those that never held the love in their heart, I mean, wherever you end up, I apologize. I really do. I apologize. But for those that have always have love in their heart, even through all the pain and struggle and hate that people have bestowed upon you and the things people have done to you, but you still have held your station. You still held your station of love in your heart, no matter what. Because the closest place you can meet Allah is in the heart. So if you held your station in the heart, that's closer than your jugular vein. So I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the one closest to you, closer than your jugular vein, is the closest place to meet him, in the heart. But has your heart really been that heart of love and compassion, where you are looking out for your brother and sister? Not based on whether you got it or not. Because people be out here giving to the movements and giving to people and they ain't even got it. It's people out here doing the work of these prophets. And if you pulled up, they might live in a 1-bedroom studio, but they out there doing for the community like you think they lived in a mansion. And the smiles they got on their face and the love they have in their heart when they do it. That type of toiling is the toiling you should be happy about. When you're able to assist and help your brother or sister. But also allow your brother or sister to help you. Because this reciprocation, we be looking for love in a certain way. When I promise you, you can go out and talk to a homeless person on the streets. They got more knowledge than somebody that you're so close to, and the love that you can feel from them will be so much stronger than the person that you look at every day. Because they do. A lot of these homeless people walk around with pure hearts. This is why they haven't given into the materialistic world. Because to be close to Allah is the best thing you could be. And not holding on to things keeps you close to him. It keeps you understanding where your blessings come from on high. Especially when you don't have what everyone else got. But you still wake up every day. You're still able to take a step. Your feet still move. You're still able to walk, talk, move your body. Some people wake up and can't do none of that. Some of these people out on these streets is so much purer in heart than we could ever be. And they going through the trials and tribulations. Some of them are not even thinking about a place to stay or any of that. Because there's no water bill. There's no electric bill. Why am I feeding into a system that'll never take care of me? That's always just taken from me. So who are the smarter people around here? Because they ain't sold themselves into a system that's going to control them and tell them how they're going to be. When Allah never told us to do that either. He said, I brought you everything to save a nation. Now save yourself. And in saving yourself, you start learning that none of these things have power over you. Power is but an illusion. That none of these things even have power over you. But we allow them to have the power and the power over us, over our minds, bodies, and souls. You heard me say soul because you do allow man to take over your soul. Because he takes over your thinking by telling you what to think and how to think. Oh, no, they couldn't have did that. Not a Beyonce and a Jay-Z. No, not them. So they tell you how to think about someone. That's not God. That's not Jesus. Because this flesh will fall. The flesh is what we all are a part of. So, baby, you can't tell nobody they ain't nothing based off their flesh because the flesh do a lot of things. My flesh at once has been so envious, ready to get you back at any moment in every way, and the thoughts that would go through my mind to get you back. Not great thoughts at all. So believe me, when knowing how this flesh really operates and the damage you could do even through your thoughts, that don't think none of these people are above reproach. None of them. None of us are. None of us are above the law, above reproach. Because God don't like ugly and he sure ain't fond of pretty. So, at the end of the day, y'all, the love, as I said, give yourself time. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some love. See what that feel like. To love on yourself. Not looking for it from nobody else. Because I feel when you are able to really do that for you, then you don't look for no one to give it back. It's just going to come naturally anyway because you're showing up as love. So all that can reciprocate to you is love. And when you show up in love and love is not reciprocated, it will flee away from you. So when you wonder why people are fleeing and they're disappearing and they're not there, because you stood in your place of love and because they really wasn't on their true path of none of that, of none of that. So they're fleeing. They're fleeing. Them teeming thoughts and teeming people are fleeing. Let them flee. Let them fly. Because you can't hold the weight. I had to tell them, stop trying to fix people. They don't want to fix themselves. They keep talking about the same thing, complaining about the same thing. You're just weighing yourself down with their issues. Allow them to go wherever they go so you can be free to fly. Spread my wings and fly away to a place that I long for, not with everybody else holding on to my wings because I wouldn't be able to fly. So I've had to learn to let go of that. I had to learn not to feel bad when people dismiss themselves out of my life. Whether it be family, friends, associates, jobs, regardless. When they decide to exit, that's what they do. I'm not even hurt, but I used to be very hurt, but hurt about things. Not anymore. You could go. Because as quick as they come, as quick as they leave, and it's fine. I've gotten used to it. It no longer hurts my feelings like it used to because it did. It used to hurt really bad. I feel like that was my walk in life. These are the foes I had to fight because I was always giving my heart away, always giving pearl to swine, and still honestly it has been a result that has been a thing even now. I still end up doing it. It's who I am. And that don't change. So when it says the pure in heart and that love, I've always been this way. And I'm not tooting a horn to say, oh yeah, I'm pure in heart. No, because I done told you, I done thought some real ugly things. But to ever think to hurt someone or, yeah, my thoughts thought about it, and that was a bad thing. But never to take no one up out of here. Just wanting someone to feel how I felt at the moment. What kind of hurt can I bestow upon them that they can feel this? No, that wasn't right. But it was hurt because when I show up and I give you my all, because I'm going to show up and give all. I don't know how to show up and give you a little bit. I show up and give all because that's who I am. I've tried to change that. That never changed. It still ends up falling into the same place. I still show up in my 100% of authenticity. Even though I might not act like it at first and I'm trying to hold it back. But that personality be like, girl, let me out. I'm ready to go. So and it hasn't been a pretty thing for me. I ain't liked my foes, but I had to learn I had to fight them. And I still got more to go, y'all. I still got more foes to fight. But I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for being able to be here, and being able to even speak the words I speak, even feel the spirit come through me and speak through me. Because it be Allah speaking through man to man. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for being able to be that vessel, the vessel where the spirit can come up through me and speak. That's the vessel I'm talking about. So it's been a great Sunday. I'm about to get off of here and do something. Go take some time with myself, as I do every day. But I'm going to go take time with myself. It's about to rain. It's getting colder and colder in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, my goodness. But, we need it to clear the air. As I say, stay safe, stay vigilant, tribe up. So I can say to y'all, tribe up and try to stay out the way of everything that's going on because it is a lot going on. It is a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Okay? So Peace and love. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm going to read some words from the prophet because these words are always so important. More Science Temple of America, to the members of the More Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion to the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, and you fear not what you hear or see, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Now, can we say our prayer, Islam? We're going to do our prayer. We put up 5 on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another, standing on our square. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, have a great day. Mm-hmm.